Last couple of weeks, I've been mentioning about Dan and Chip Heath's research on 3 steps to motivate people to change. Step 1 is about painting a vivid picture on why the change is needed. Step 2 is about not asking people to change their values, but appealing to their existing values or identities, something that they already hold. Today is about step 3. Let's say you're in an organization where you're looking to change things, but you're not in any formal authority position. You also know that probably the change that you're asking for seems like a big one. Then the best thing for you to do or to try is to figure out a way to get your boss to S by shrinking the change. What do I mean by shrinking the change? Let's say you have a room or your house, some part of the house is messy. You're going to think that, oh my God, this is too much work. I can never straighten this up. So there's this lady called the Fly Lady who has an online house cleaning website, and she suggests this technique. She calls it the 5-minute room rescue. You take a kitchen timer and you set it for 5 minutes, and you go to the dirtiest corner of the room or the house and try to clean it up. At the end of 5 minutes, you at least can stop with a clear conscience. But what probably happens is that you get into the flow of things, and at the end of 3 hours, you've actually straightened up the entire room or the house. So that's shrinking the change. Emily Dia tried this in her school in North Carolina. She had wanted to get her whole grade level at school on board with a new teaching process. And while she had been teaching at the same school for 18 years, COVID had struck and her whole work life absolutely changed, like it did for a lot of teachers and a lot of the parents. She says that there were so many systems that we didn't even think how we were going to create it. For instance, what if the students can't go online? How would you reach the content to them? Would you drive to their house and drop it off? She was already working more hours than she had ever done. There was no work-life balance. And on top of it, she had a kid who was going to 3rd grade who she just said, you're on your own, buddy. I mean, you take care of yourself. There's already so much going on. So she decided to actually initiate a change on her own instead of waiting for things to change. She Googled what to do if a situation is like this, how to do remote learning, and came upon the Modern Classrooms project. The Modern Classrooms project is just a different way of teaching. Instead of lecturing students all at once in front of the classroom, the teachers create their own instructional video lessons from their home anytime. And the students then can actually access these videos to work through the lessons at their own pace. And since the teachers aren't busy lecturing, they are free to support the students one-on-one. Emily says that this was the biggest revelation of her teaching career. She could actually now have time to be truly responsible to every individual in her classroom. Now, she wanted to take this model to the other classrooms, but it was a big change, and there was plenty of resistance. The teachers were skeptical, the parents were skeptical, even her own students were skeptical. And that's when she decided to apply the change steps to see how she could convince her team to get on board. First, she created an emotional image of why the change had to happen. Teachers were exhausted. Coming out of COVID, teachers were tired, and teacher burnout and teacher attrition was huge. So her message was, if we didn't change something, we're all going to quit. We are all going to be unhealthy. And it wasn't just the teachers, right, who needed to change. Students needed it desperately too. They were zoning out of the classrooms. Only half of her class, for instance, was ever live, which meant that there were significant learning gaps that were happening. So what they needed was a model that would help them fill those gaps and prevent the learning gap from becoming larger. And that's how she framed it. Second, she got her students and parents on board by appealing to their existing values. Their sense of pride in educational excellence and their desire for more personalized instruction. All the parents wanted that. They didn't want the students to be left behind in a traditional class. And in a traditional class, maybe at the end of the content delivery, she would have been able to speak to 3 or 4 students. But with the modern classroom project, because she had time, she could give structured feedback one on one and maybe talk to about 15, 16 students at one go. This personalization made the students more confident. One of our students said that I always thought that I was terrible at English, but I realized that no one had ever told me explicitly what was it that I was supposed to be doing. Now that I see it, I'm getting better at it. So this impact that she saw in her classroom, she was ready to make the case for change to her principal, but that's when she needed to make her third move, which is shrinking the change. She said that as an administrator, I know that I enjoy tangible, concrete, small hours at a time when I'm really busy. So initially, she just went to the principal and asked, can you make 5.5 minutes to watch this video and tell me what you think? And that gave her a foot in the door. The second ask then was, would you let me present what I tried in my classroom? And then she raised the bar. And the third ask was, would you pay for a bunch of us to take this training this summer so that we can learn how to do it? The principal bought in, and after getting so many teachers on board, she decided to spread it to other schools, and now she works for the Modern Classrooms Project to help other teachers adopt the program at their school and get buy-in from their administrators. What an eye-opening and empowering approach. We see that sometimes in organizations, there is a top-down approach to change. And maybe it is necessary again sometimes. But too many people try to force change when what they should be doing is looking for ways to unleash it. Your workplace is full of people with so many ideas for improvement, and all they are missing is the authority for them to try it. What can you do about this in your workplace? Do share in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.